Hey there, homesteaders! This week we want to give you a little update on the jalapenos that we fermented and canned a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to use the fermented jalapenos to make a vegan nacho cheese sauce along with potatoes and carrots. I've done a similar thing before and it always turns out really well, so I'm looking forward to that.
Alright, so let's pop these jars and get cooking.
Yeah!
We're Kaliki and Bret, a rugged and adventurous gay couple who are sick and tired of clashing with life in the city.
So we decided to head into the desert to chase our dreams and thrive.
Along with our furry friends Chuck and Momo,
We'll explore DIY projects, tiny house construction, gardening, hiking, cooking,
and share what it looks like to jump headfirst into homesteading.
So subscribe and join us on our dusty adventures to build this desert dwelling.
So these are the jalapenos that we canned, and we were told that we probably didn't use enough vinegar, and we were also told we probably used too much vinegar. So based off of how they taste, it's fine. It's a fine amount of vinegar. The only problem we have with them is that the texture is pretty non-existent. They're basically just melt in your mouth. So they taste great, but probably something that's better just to blend into a sauce or something. Now these are the fermented jalapenos, so they've been sitting for, I'd say, about 3 weeks now, and they are amazing. They're still really crunchy, they're super spicy, and they've got a really nice lacto fermentation, sort of cheesy, funky flavor. So these can last pretty long, but they'll definitely take some refrigeration after a while, otherwise they'll just keep fermenting until I don't really know what. So I would definitely recommend making some of these if you want some really epically flavored jalapenos. Why don't we head into the kitchen and see how Bret's cheese sauce is coming.
Oh, hi Scott. Come on in. So first I'm going to peel a couple potatoes. So for these potatoes I'm going to be extracting the starch to make the cheese sauce, and I'm just going to grate the potatoes. Okay, so my potatoes have been sitting in the water for a minute. I'm just trying to let all the starches release. So I'm going to just dump this water, trying to hold back most of the potatoes as I do this. I'll just add a little bit more water. Now most of the starch has been rinsed from the potatoes, and these I'm not going to be using today, but I'll save them and just throw this into a soup later probably. But right now all I'm wanting from these ones is just the starch, so I'm going to let this sit and all the starch will settle at the bottom of this bowl. So we'll come back in a little bit and see how that's doing.
Oh man, that's a really nice carrot.
Yeah.
It's one of the prettiest, most normal looking ones we've gotten.
Except for this little vestigial twin.
What are we gonna do with that carrot?
We're going to use it to make our potato nacho cheese sauce.
For that color.
Yeah.
Color and nutrition.
It smells so good.
Being punished. Go home. Go home.
So I was just looking closer and I realized this is definitely two different carrots that formed together. You can kind of see a little line there too. Christ. I wonder if that's one and that's one mainly.
Maybe.
Now I'm going to peel a carrot and a couple more potatoes for the base of the sauce. And then I'm going to just slice them up and steam them. So I'm gonna steam these instead of boiling them so they'll retain more of their starch. So that's what's gonna give this cheese sauce its cheesy texture. So cover these up, let them steam for probably about 45 minutes. So you can see that starch has started separating from the water. The water's turning kind of brown. We'll let it continue separating. The water will get more clear and darker brown, and this layer of starch will get thicker, or actually it'll probably get thinner as it just like settles down more toward the bottom. Then we'll dump off the excess water and rinse it again. Alright, this has been sitting for about an hour. I'm just going to drain off the water on top of it first. So the excess water has been drained off, and you can see there's still some little potato chunks in there. So I'm going to add in a little bit of water, mix it all up. So I've mixed the starch up. I'm just going to run this through a little strainer to get out all of the slices of potato. I'm going to run a little bit of water over this. Rinse out the excess starch. And I'll put a little water in the bowl to rinse out this part too. Alright, so now I'm just going to let this hang out in the beaker for a while and do the same thing it was doing before, just let all the starch settle to the bottom. Alright, so these have been steaming for about 45 minutes. Hi! And they're nice and tender, so it's time to blend them up. So I have my steamed potatoes and carrots added to my blender cup, and I'm just going to add in some unsweetened almond milk. Just enough to cover them up. But first I'm actually going to add some of the jalapenos and garlic and onions that I fermented. So that's all blended up now. It's nice and smooth. Now I just have to finish it off. So really, you could call this good at this point. Just add a little bit more salt and you'd be ready to go. But I want to make it a little bit fancier, so let's do that. I'm going to add in a little bit of this juice from these fermented jalapenos. That's going to add a little bit of salt, but it's also going to add this nice funky flavor that's going to make it taste a lot more like cheese. I'm also going to add some more almond milk. And I'm going to add some nutritional yeast. That will help add that kind of cheesy flavor too. And I'm going to add some vegetable oil. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit more water because I think it's still a little too thick. And mix this up, see how it's looking. The heat's not on at this point. I'm just getting everything that I want mixed in. I'm still going to add a little bit more water. I'll throw a little bit of chili powder in here and some salt. Alright, so this water is relatively clear now. I'm just gonna drain it out. And you can see that I'm left with just the starch at the bottom. So I'm gonna add back a little bit of water to this to make it into a slurry. And then I will add it to my potato mixture on the stove. Alright, now just add in this slurry. It'll start thickening up pretty fast once I add it in. Alright, you can see that it's getting thicker now. I'm just gonna cook it about another 20 more seconds maybe. And get it to the consistency I want it. And there you have it. Now you could use this, we're gonna use it for nacho cheese, but you could make a macaroni and cheese or something with this. It's never going to taste exactly like cheese, but this is about as close as I've gotten in terms of a nacho cheese sauce. and I'm really happy with how it turns out. Just gonna garnish this with a few jalapenos just to make it extra pretty. Alright, let's go see what Kaliki thinks of this.
This is nice. I always love when he makes cheese sauces like this. I can't help but enjoy a good chip and dip.
Yeah, and this is a little different than I've done it before. I haven't gone to all the trouble of like getting the starch out of the potatoes.
Yeah.
Which I honestly don't know if I would do next time. It didn't really seem worth it. It made me able to make more volume of it than I could with just the potatoes. But I could have just cooked some more potatoes. I think if, like in the future when we're growing a ton of potatoes, like maybe I'll just like dig some up and make potato starch and dry it out.
Alright, let's try it out.
Yeah, let's dig in.
I'm gonna get one of these jalapenos on top.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, the fermenting of the jalapenos, it definitely really brings that sort of cheesy flavor to it. I definitely wouldn't mind if it was like a little thicker.
Yeah.
Probably when it cools off though, it's gonna be real thick.
I was gonna say, I think when it cools off, and then especially, because we're not gonna eat all of this right now, so when we heat that back up, it's definitely gonna be even thicker.
Yeah. What you doing down here, Special? You looking for our crumbs? You don't want chips. You do want chips, but you're not getting chips. Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode this week. If you'd like some extra behind-the-scenes footage, then be sure to check out our Patreon page. There's lots of fun things there, including recipes of what Bret's doing every week and some other cool things that you don't want to miss out on. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode of Desert Dwelling.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.